attest. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge.
See what I'm doing right now? My shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still counting paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
Tensions are escalating in the entertainment world as new revelations suggest a deep betrayal within the circle once held together by loyalty and respect. Allegations are now surfacing that Rick Ross may have orchestrated a scheme involving Big Meech, with the reported fallout so serious that it has prompted extreme responses behind the scenes.
In his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him.
This dramatic turn comes at a time when 50 Cent, a central figure in the narrative surrounding the legacy of Black Mafia family and its portrayal in media, has been vocal on social platforms. His posts appear to direct sharp criticism toward both Big Meech and his son Lil Meech, following a high-profile association between Meech and Rick Ross. What stands out is Big Meech's decision to align with Rick Ross shortly after his release from prison, a move that shocked many, considering Ross's well-known history of conflict with 50 Cent.
I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
The unexpected partnership raised eyebrows and sparked widespread discussion, especially given 50 Cent's long-standing support of the BMF story, including funding and launching Lil Meech's acting career with an estimated $5 million investment. Despite 50 Cent's contributions, public displays of camaraderie between Big Meech and Ross, along with further associations involving figures like Floyd Mayweather, have created waves.
On it.
Do I feel bad for Lil Meech? I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too, nigga. You asking for my sympathy for it, nigga. You be alright. Oh, yeah, nigga.
The reaction across the internet has been intense, with viewers comparing the ongoing drama to the final act of a high-stakes reality series. More than a clash of egos, this situation highlights shifting alliances and the volatile nature of loyalty in an industry driven by image, strategy, and influence. The narrative surrounding 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Rick Ross continues to unfold, with growing speculation about who truly benefited from the Black Mafia family legacy.
The bad guy out of all of this.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. That Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech?
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to.
While many critics argue that 50 Cent leveraged Big Meech's story for financial gain, others point out that his efforts led to the creation of an entire television franchise and elevated Lil Meech's career.
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to.
In contrast, Rick Ross's role in the saga is being painted in a far more controversial light. Ross is now being accused of strategically aligning himself with Big Meech for personal clout, only to withdraw at the first sign of backlash. Observers note that as tensions escalated, Ross conveniently distanced himself from the drama, citing a sudden shoulder injury. This development was broadcast widely online, leading many to believe it was a calculated distraction. Simultaneously, Ross has come under fire for his alleged involvement in a cryptocurrency scheme known as Boss Token.
We'll burn it all down if you piss him off. His own sometimes too. You know, he'll cancel BMF to prove a point. Regardless of how much money he makes.
Critics claim that Ross misled investors before vanishing from the project, leading to accusations of fraud and spawning the nickname Rug Ross across social media platforms. The timing of this fallout, coinciding with the controversies surrounding Big Meech, has only deepened public skepticism.
How do you feel about the rapper Rick Ross having the same name?
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity, the whole thing. You know, he built his career off of my legacy.
Adding fuel to the fire, rumors suggest Ross may have influenced Big Meech to push for more financial compensation from 50 Cent. If true, it positions Ross as a key player in what some view as a misguided effort to manipulate industry relationships. This miscalculation appears to have backfired, leaving Big Meech isolated at a time when rebuilding was critical. Meanwhile, hopes that Big Meech would gain equity through Rick Ross's Wingstop empire are fading. Unconfirmed reports suggest that Ross liquidated most of the franchises, allegedly redirecting the profits into his real estate ventures. With only a couple of locations remaining, the anticipated financial revival tied to those assets now appears unlikely.
See what I'm doing right now? My shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still counting paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
As for Lil Meech, criticism has been mounting regarding his lavish spending and lack of financial restraint, with money allegedly flowing toward designer brands and high-profile appearances. The future of the family legacy now hangs in the balance. The dream of reclaiming their former status appears increasingly distant as alliances fracture and trust disappears from within. The backlash facing Big Meech over his short-lived partnership with Rick Ross is growing louder, with major voices in the entertainment world now chiming in. One of the most notable critics is actor Michael Rainey Jr., who publicly stated that neither Big Meech nor Lil Meech deserve sympathy for how things played out. According to Rainey, both men are adults and should have recognized the warning signs early on. Meanwhile, 50 Cent has been reinforcing that same sentiment from his corner of the media world. Known for his relentless energy when dealing with betrayal or disloyalty, 50 made it clear that he has no pity for those who cross him. His stance reflects a broader view that personal accountability matters in the industry, especially when navigating relationships with known rivals. Even DJ Vlad weighed in, noting that 50 Cent's approach to feuds is unmatched. Once targeted, individuals can expect not just harsh words, but long-lasting consequences. Vlad echoed a common industry warning. Getting on 50 Cent's bad side is a move few recover from, particularly when the fallout plays out so publicly. This isn't the first time Rick Ross has distanced himself after making lofty promises. Industry insiders recall previous incidents, including a moment when Ross allegedly abandoned his own entourage during an altercation in Canada, only to later justify it by claiming it was a test of loyalty. The pattern seems clear. Proximity to Ross often results in high expectations followed by cold silence. Whack 100, another prominent voice in hip-hop media, pointed the finger directly at Ross as the instigator of the drama between Big Meech and 50 Cent. According to Whack, Ross leveraged his relationship with Meech as a power play, knowing full well the optics it would create. He allegedly encouraged Meech to challenge 50 while offering vague promises of business opportunities and visibility. However, those promises quickly evaporated. Instead of working behind the scenes to help Meech rebuild, Ross made the situation public, allegedly mocking 50 Cent and making inflated claims about acquiring rights to the BMF television series. As it stands now, none of those claims have materialized. Ross has gone quiet on anything related to Big Meech and shifted his focus to more profitable ventures. What's left behind is a trail of fractured trust and public embarrassment. The friendship that was once framed as strategic and powerful has become a cautionary tale. As many now see it, Rick Ross used Big Meech as a temporary symbol, an image to reinforce his status, only to discard that symbol when it no longer served his interests. Speculation continues to swirl around who was truly responsible for canceling Big Meech's welcome benefit party, with new whispers pointing directly at Rick Ross. For weeks, much of the blame had been unfairly attributed to 50 Cent, especially after he made a now-deleted social media post that stated, "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." At the time, many dismissed it as typical trolling. But in light of recent developments, that statement has taken on new meaning. It now appears that Rick Ross may have been the one who sabotaged the benefit concert from behind the scenes. The motive? According to insiders, it was about control. Ross allegedly didn't want Big Meech using the event to reclaim the spotlight or build momentum for a return to prominence. Instead, Ross seemed content keeping Meech under his influence, ensuring that any attention came with strings attached. What's even more telling is the long-standing public association Rick Ross has created between himself and Big Meech's legacy. The 2010 track BMF, Blowin' Money Fast, famously includes the line, "I think I'm Big Meech," further blurring the line between admiration and appropriation. But could that lyric have been more than just a punchline? Could it have been the start of a larger strategy to position himself as the new embodiment of a street legend? That wouldn't be new territory for Rick Ross. In fact, his entire career has been built on the controversial decision to adopt the name of a real-life drug kingpin. William Leonard Roberts II, the rapper known as Rick Ross, took his stage name from Freeway Rick Ross, an infamous figure who ran a massive narcotics empire during the 1980s. The original Rick Ross was in prison at the time and didn't approve of the use of his name, image, or reputation. When the real Rick Ross was released, he immediately sought legal action. In 2010, he filed a lawsuit against the rapper for trademark infringement and misappropriation of identity. The case sparked national interest not only because of the names involved, but because it raised questions about authenticity and ownership in hip-hop culture. However, despite the strong claims, the case was ultimately dismissed. In 2013, a judge ruled in favor of the rapper, citing First Amendment protections that allowed him to keep using the name. The court's decision came down to cultural expression over legal identity, and the real Rick Ross lost. Critics noted that the rapper's fame, wealth, and previous position as a corrections officer helped sway the outcome in his favor. This incident now serves as a precedent and one that casts a shadow over Ross's current relationship with Big Meech. When viewed in that context, his pattern becomes more evident. Elevate his brand by aligning with real-life street legends, extract cultural capital, and then vanish when things get complicated. And this isn't isolated to Big Meech. In 2021, Ross was criticized again for referencing Larry Hoover, another incarcerated icon, without making any tangible effort to support Hoover's actual legal struggles. Many viewed it as another opportunistic moment, where Ross used another man's legacy for personal gain without offering meaningful support in return. With these patterns emerging, it's raising serious questions within the industry. Is Rick Ross truly honoring these names, or is he exploiting them to boost his image while providing little in return? The narrative seems to be repeating itself, and Big Meech might just be the latest in a long line of borrowed identities. Rick Ross's history of name-dropping real-life street figures to build credibility in the rap world has long been a point of controversy. Among the most notable examples is his repeated use of Larry Hoover's name in his music. Hoover, a former gang leader and widely recognized figure within the hip-hop community, remained incarcerated while Ross was invoking his name to elevate records, gain street credibility, and draw attention to his brand. According to insider reports, Ross allegedly paid significant amounts of money, potentially in the millions, to the Gangster Disciples, a group with direct ties to Hoover, in exchange for continued use of his name in his lyrics and public persona. However, when it came time to offer genuine support for Hoover's legal cause and push for reform, Ross was nowhere to be found. Despite the visibility he gained from associating with Hoover's legacy, his absence during key moments of activism didn't go unnoticed. Many in the hip-hop community criticized him for exploiting a legacy without offering any meaningful advocacy or backing when it mattered most. Social media erupted with backlash, and Ross was accused of prioritizing personal gain over integrity. Again, the pattern has continued to raise questions, especially now, as similar behavior emerges with Rick Ross's handling of his relationship with Big Meech. Much like the Hoover situation, Ross appeared to build rapport with Meech, publicly praising him and referencing him in music. But when stakes rose and public scrutiny increased, Ross quietly distanced himself, leaving Meech without the backing many assumed he would have. This recurring behavior didn't go unnoticed by industry veterans. Even 50 Cent, who has been in a long-standing feud with Ross, once stated publicly that he never respected Ross as a person, citing exactly these types of moves as examples of disloyalty. In light of recent events, it appears 50's past assessments are gaining renewed attention, especially as Ross finds himself facing criticism once again. Meanwhile, 50 Cent remains unfazed by the unfolding drama, focused on expanding his business empire and continuing to produce entertainment ventures. He has managed to distance himself from the controversy entirely. In fact, recent reports confirm that 50's previously delayed studio development loan was finally approved, signaling yet another major win for his long-term strategy. While others scramble to maintain relevance through borrowed identities and fractured alliances, 50 Cent is setting new milestones in entertainment and business. And ironically, it's happening at the exact moment that the cracks are showing in Rick Ross's brand and credibility. For many observers, it's a full circle moment, a shift in momentum that proves legacy isn't built through borrowed names, but through sustained vision and consistency. Many observers now believe that Rick Ross is likely feeling the pressure, especially after he recently claimed he was buying 50 Cent's masters, a statement that, in hindsight, feels more like bluster than reality. As for Lil Meech and Big Meech, the fallout appears to have brought hard lessons, but at this point, it's clear that any chance of 50 Cent stepping back in to assist, whether professionally or personally, has come and gone. Commentators like Zip with the Drip were among the first to call it. From the beginning, he backed 50 Cent's claims about Rick Ross and predicted that it wouldn't be long before Ross turned his back on Big Meech, and now that prediction has played out almost exactly as described. Online, fans are dissecting the entire chain of events. Many agree that Big Meech's return to prominence may have been permanently derailed. The opportunity for a full industry comeback, already fragile, may now be completely gone. After spending over a decade incarcerated, the expectation was that Meech would move with more precision and care. Instead, decisions made in haste have only deepened the damage. One viral comment summed it up best. Let me get this straight. A former corrections officer double-crossing a man who served time and the one betrayed? A former kingpin who didn't see it coming. That's not irony. That's karma. A sentiment now echoed by many. So the question now becomes, is Big Meech quietly planning a response to this betrayal? Or is this chapter closing with more silence, especially as new allegations of betrayal from longtime friend Cuff continue to surface? Let us know what you think. Is this the end of the BMF revival, or could a surprising twist still be on the way? If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next big story unraveling in hip-hop. Stay locked in, because in this industry, the next twist is never far behind.